Well, the headline figure from a new survey from YouGov published today has revealed that a majority of people, 63%, back the Supreme Court decision in its recent ruling on biological sex, and that the law on women's rights, they say, is now clear.
But Britain's first transgender judge, Dr. Victoria McCloud, disagrees. She's suing the government, claiming the ruling puts trans people with gender recognition certificates in legal limbo. She's decided to leave the UK as a result of the ruling and obviously joins us in the studio now. Very good morning to you. So you can see from this survey, majority people think this is finally made things clear. A woman is a biological woman. You, as a judge, disagree.
Well, I do, and I don't know any lawyers who find the judgment clear at all. Of course, the concept of biological sex is something that is not a legal term that's been known before. So the court, unfortunately, failed to say what they meant, so that doesn't help. OK, and you're taking legal action now? Yes, I'm going to go to the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg.
What's your petition? What are you going to say?
Well, what's happened is that the Supreme Court has departed from a case that was decided in about 2002, which led to the Gender Recognition Act, which is the act that enabled us to re-register our births and to change our legal sex, as the statute says. And the court has gone against that. But they also, unfortunately, failed to hear any trans people and excluded me and others from the court, so that we weren't actually heard making any points.
And what do you say to those behind the legal action, of course, and presumably to those in the survey, who say you may be able to say that you have changed your sex, but you have not changed your biological sex? And therefore, for instance, if you're playing in a football match, there are biological factors that come with being born a man.
Yes, I mean, and in this country for the last 20 years, the law has been that if it's not fair, then a trans person can be excluded. So there's nothing new in this. But it's case by case. I'm 8 stone. I don't have the muscles of a man. Most female footballers would make mincemeat of me. But some people are bigger than others. And I entirely agree that you shouldn't have situations where any woman is in some sense at risk, or which is unfair.
But can you see how that has happened? I mean, we've seen those cases in Scotland.
Cases, yes.
You know, criminals then transitioning and saying, I'm a woman, going into a female prison.
I mean, my experience as a judge, I mean, I was involved in writing guidelines for judges, and I know that the guidance there is that, you know, if you get some rapist who turns up at court saying, despite having been Bob all his life, turns up and says, hello, I'm Julie today, he's probably just lying, because bad people lie. And they're called trans, I think, by people labelling them as trans, and they may call themselves trans, but doesn't make it true.
Can we talk about the impact on you personally? Because you've left the country, living in Ireland now. If you were still sitting on a case today, for example, and I'm not going to belabor the point about toilets, but it's worth raising, what toilet would you be allowed to use?
Well, I raised concerns about this 2 years ago, because internally within the judiciary, because I said I could see this case coming up through the courts, because I wanted them to have a policy so that there wouldn't be embarrassment if somebody tried to set me up, effectively. And unfortunately, they just didn't create a policy. So the answer is that I don't know.
Well, I mean, I suppose legally you'd have to use the gents, but you, as a woman who regards herself as a woman,
it wouldn't be safe for me to use mental illness. And the current situation, one of the reasons I've had to leave is, you know, if I was out with work colleagues, and believe it or not, judges do go down the pub, you know, sometimes, or wherever, I'd be expected to leave my female colleagues and go to the men's loos in a London pub with female anatomy. That's not safe. And I'm as much at risk of assault or rape as any other woman.
And you're also concerned, aren't you, about the solution which has been offered here and there, that actually trans women should use disabled toilets?
Well, that came up in the interview that I did with Kemi Baden.
I feel very strongly about this. Both of my parents suffered from disabilities later in life, and in fact, one of my specialist areas when I was writing for the guidance for judges was disability. And disabled people's spaces are designed for them. I don't think it's right, and nobody asked their permission to take their space.
I wonder if you can And I hope you don't mind me asking you this.
Like. Yeah.
Can you explain to people who simply don't understand how it happens that somebody born in a, biologically male body then
that means, yes. Yeah.
feels that they are a woman and transitions?
What's it like?
Yeah, what's it like?
Well, the way I put it this way, I mean, like most trans people, I knew that I was a girl in terms of how I felt to myself to be. From about 5 years old, very, very clearly. And that's about the same age as everyone else knows they're a boy or a girl. So I don't think we're any different. We know we're boys or girls. It's just the other way around for us.
But for a lot of parents would say, well, I've got a little boy who dresses up, as a girl or wears dresses, or I've got a little girl
I certainly didn't do that.
No, and that's different. That's just sort of experimenting.
There's nothing wrong
but
with that.
This is something different.
Yes, it is. It's a medical condition. It's been known for hundreds of years, actually. And it's just one of those things, and it's eminently capable of being resolved. I mean, I'm a completely happy person, no problem at all.
Yeah.
And going back a few years, what made you decide to come out as Britain's first trans judge?
Well, I mean, ultimately, there was a sense that, well, I came out as Britain's first practicing trans barrister, so it's actually way back in my 20s.
Yes.
So I didn't really need to come out because, people already knew. The timing was right. I wasn't in any relationship at the time, so I wasn't being unfair to anyone. And I had always been open in any relationships I'd had anyway, because I don't naturally lie or whatever. And that was the right time. I was beginning to start a legal practice. I wasn't employed, so I couldn't be sacked. I was self-employed. My parents were still alive, and I didn't want them to die not knowing. So those sorts of personal reasons.
Well, it's been fascinating talking to you.
It has been. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Victoria McCloud, thank you. And very, very, very interesting interview. We will speak again, I am sure.